Cuba, often referred to as the Pearl of the Caribbean, is not only famous for its stunning, lively beaches but is also a nation with a proud, heroic history. Here, the limited number of automobiles, mostly classic cars, means that people mainly rely on horse-drawn carriages and bicycles for transportation. Despite being a small country facing embargoes, Cuba has developed a healthcare and education system ranked among the best in the world. Today, let's dive into 19 of the most unusual things that you'll only find in Cuba. 19. The condom paradise. In 2014, global health organizations voiced concerns when Cuba's demand for condoms far exceeded actual needs, with some reports hinting at a potential HIV outbreak. But, in reality, Cubans use condoms for various daily needs due to the scarcity of supplies caused by the embargo. With an average monthly income of only about $25, locals find unique ways to save money, like brewing fruit wine sealed with a condom. When the wine ferments and produces gas, the condom inflates, signaling that the wine is ready. The government sells a pack of 3 condoms for just $0.01, allowing people to get creative with them, using them as hair ties, package wrappings, and even fishing floats. For fishing, they attach baited lines to multiple inflated condoms to keep the line afloat. When a fish bites, the balloons twitch, signaling it's time to reel it in. 18. Brides choose male guests to dance with at weddings. Cuban weddings are grand affairs, with families and friends of 50 to 100 guests attending, with the bride's parents covering the costs. Since women do not inherit personal assets, this event serves as the bride's dowry, helping her confidently enter married life. A unique part of the Cuban wedding ceremony is the money dance, where the bride and groom dance with family members and then invite guests to join. Male guests dance with the bride, female guests with the groom, and they pin a bit of money to the bride's dress to wish her well. 17. No internet before 2018. In 2011, only 25% of Cuba's population could access the internet at public points, while home and mobile internet remained a luxury, with an hour's use costing $2. People often downloaded data onto USB drives to share information. By 2018, statistics showed that 150,000 Cubans accessed the internet daily. However, apps like Skype and WhatsApp were unavailable on Apple and Google App Stores, and Cubans could only access Facebook via the web. 16. Selling Coca-Cola was once illegal. Cuba, along with North Korea, was one of the only countries in the world where Coca-Cola sales were banned, a restriction that lasted for 60 years before being lifted in 2015. Instead, a popular drink called tuca is sold in both cans and plastic bottles. Occasionally, you might spot a few shops selling imported Coca-Cola from Mexico, though it costs double the regular price. 15. Cuban cigars are extremely expensive. Cigars are a status symbol for the elite, and Cuba is renowned for producing premium cigars, larger than cigarettes. Cuban cigars, especially the high-end Habanos brand, are prized worldwide, available in over 150 countries for more than 200 years. The cigar culture in Cuba has preserved its tradition since 1960, when Fidel Castro's bodyguards started crafting cigars for him. A quality box of Habanos can cost thousands of dollars. Cuban cigars are meticulously handmade, with around 500 steps from seed to finished product. Each year, the Habanos Company distributes its cigars exclusively across more than 150 countries and hosts a major festival where top cigar brands gather, providing enthusiasts the chance to sample and purchase cigars. 14. Naming public buildings after Fidel Castro is forbidden. In 2016, the Cuban parliament passed a law banning the use of Fidel Castro's name for public buildings. According to this law, Havana authorities cannot name any organizations, squares, parks, avenues, streets, orders, or titles after him. The law also prohibits constructing memorials or using his likeness in symbols or other forms of homage. 13. Havana Club Rum once topped world sales. Cuba is well known for its sugarcane production. And Havana Club rum, made from premium sugarcane molasses, is a global favorite. The brand dates back to 1938. In the 1920s, during America's Prohibition era, businessmen, artists, and politicians flocked to Cuba to enjoy rum freely. Today, Havana Club International remains one of Cuba's first joint ventures, with its rum ranking among the top 24 best-selling spirits globally. The famous sugarcane fields of Cuba have not only produced delicious sugar but also contributed to the creation of this legendary rum. Number 12. World-class ballet school. In Cuba, ballet is a beloved art form, and the country's prestigious ballet school is recognized as one of the world's leading institutions. Students undergo 8 years of training, merging Cuba's distinctive style with American and European influences. Cubans hold ballet in high esteem, and dancers are seen as the pride of their families. Dancers earn relatively high salaries in a country where the average daily income is around $20, and a renowned dancer can elevate their family's living standard. Training runs from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., covering both practical and theoretical ballet courses as well as subjects like math, history, and French. Number 11. Food rationing system. Cubans receive food rations to supplement their limited monthly income, which ranges between $17 and $30, with pensions averaging $9.50 a month. The government has maintained a food rationing system since 1962 through a booklet scheme, ensuring essential items reach citizens at subsidized prices. Monthly rations include eggs, sugar, cooking oil, rice, fish, and sausage, along with items like bread, beans, and even a matchbox. Citizens over 13 receive 5 eggs, 30 bread rolls, about 3.5 kilograms of rice, and limited portions of salt, coffee, and beans. Quarterly, they receive 3 cans of beer and 3 liters of kerosene. Cuban officials estimate monthly ration subsidies cost around $230 million. Number 10. Limited access to new cars. Most cars on Cuban roads date back to pre-1950s America, with another 30% being Soviet-era vehicles. Cuba only began importing cars from China in 2009. Highways are dominated by cars, with few motorcycles seen. And in rural areas, people rely heavily on horse-drawn carts and bicycles. Traffic laws dictate that drivers of state-owned vehicles must give hitchhikers free rides when possible. It's estimated there are around 60,000 vintage cars in Cuba, mostly Ford and Chevrolet models. Number 9. Advanced healthcare system. According to the World Health Organization, Cuba's healthcare system is highly developed, with a medical team capable of handling complex diseases. In 2015, Cuba became the first country to eliminate mother-to-child HIV transmission, and in the 1980s, developed the first vaccine for meningococcal disease. The country consistently achieves one of the highest child vaccination rates, with nearly 98% of children immunized against 13 serious diseases by age 2 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Cuba dispatched medical teams to over 20 countries to aid in crisis response and became one of the first countries to initiate widespread COVID-19 vaccinations for children as young as 2 years old. Number 8. Dominoes, a cultural staple. Dominoes is not only a popular pastime but also a cultural cornerstone in Cuba. The clinking sound of dominoes echoes through the streets, especially on weekends. Groups of people gather around simple wooden tables on sidewalks to play in an atmosphere of camaraderie and fun. At the Cristobal Colon Cemetery, one of Havana's famous resting places, a woman named Juana Martin was commemorated with 2 3-dot domino tiles engraved on her tombstone. According to local legend, Juana lost a significant domino game, which greatly impacted her life, making the game an enduring symbol of her memory. Number 7. Unique New Year's Eve traditions. One popular Cuban tradition on New Year's Eve is thorough house cleaning, symbolizing a fresh start and the removal of bad luck from the past year. After cleaning, people throw water outside, representing a cleanse to welcome good fortune. Another custom involves walking around the neighborhood with an empty suitcase to invite travel opportunities in the new year. Many Cubans also prepare effigies weeks before New Year's. These effigies, stuffed with straw and old clothes, are burned on New Year's Eve, symbolizing the end of the old year's misfortunes and welcoming a hopeful new beginning. Number 6. No Starbucks or McDonald's. In Cuba, you won't find familiar fast food from McDonald's or the iconic green logo of Starbucks. Instead, you'll enjoy a distinctive cultural and culinary experience. The absence of big chains has allowed local cuisine to flourish, providing unique flavors and dishes at very affordable prices. This doesn't mean you'll go hungry, on the contrary. Finding a delicious meal here becomes a memorable adventure with rich, local flavors. Number 5. Rumba originated in Cuba. Rumba originated in the poor neighborhoods of Cuba, blending African, Latin American, and Spanish flamenco influences. In rural Cuba, rumba resembles a pantomime of cattle herding life. Modern rumba moves often showcase feminine grace, charm, and allure, while the male dancers display strength and skill through powerful body movements. Number 4. The world's smallest bird. The bee hummingbird, the world's smallest bird measuring only 5 to 6 centimeters, is native to Cuba. Cubans call it the zunzuncito, an endearing name that reflects the buzzing sound of its tiny wings. Although the International Union for Conservation of Nature reports its numbers are declining, private gardens in Cuba still offer these birds a haven. A 75-year-old resident has opened his garden to visitors since 2003, calling it the home of the hummingbirds. Even their nests are tiny, only around 3 centimeters in diameter, creating a sense of wonder for those who come to see them. Number 3. Cuba's dual currency system. Cuba has a unique monetary system with 2 main currencies, the Cuban convertible peso, CUC, and the Cuban peso, CUP. The CUC is mainly used in the tourism industry and is pegged to the US dollar, making it convenient for visitors. Meanwhile, the CUP is commonly used by locals in everyday transactions. While this system benefits tourists, it can pose challenges for locals, as the value disparity between the 2 currencies sometimes leads to inflation and inequality. Number 2. One of the highest literacy rates in the world. Cuba is known for its high-quality education system, boasting an impressive literacy rate of 99.8%. This achievement is the result of a profound transformation following the Cuban Revolution in 1959. When Fidel Castro's government launched a nationwide literacy campaign, thousands of young volunteers traveled to remote rural areas to teach reading and writing. Cuban education policies emphasize equal access to learning for everyone, making education a fundamental right and a requirement for children from ages 6 to 15. By the end of 1961, illiteracy in Cuba had drastically decreased. Number 1. Some of the world's most unique architecture. Havana, the capital of Cuba, is known for its eclectic architecture, grand villas with artistic designs, alongside modern 20th-century hotels and imposing Soviet-era structures, like the Russian embassy built in 1985. One standout is the Teatro America, a hidden gem on Galeano Street, where its grandeur contrasts sharply with the surrounding gray concrete. No other city in the world quite compares to Havana's hidden beauty, where medieval Spanish styles meet Renaissance influences from Spain, Greece, and Italy. Which of these 19 interesting facts about Cuba impressed you the most? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more fascinating videos. For now, goodbye, and see you on the next exploration journey.